Let's journey to an island in the heart of the Mediterranean, a place you might think you know. But beyond the sun-drenched beaches and the ancient ruins, there's a secret, a story that's been bottled for millennia, and it's a story that flows from the vineyards of Cyprus.
So, when you think of Cyprus, what pops into your head? For most of us, it's probably beautiful coastlines, crystal clear water, maybe some delicious halloumi cheese. All true, but that's just scratching the surface of this island's story.
What if I told you the real story is tied to this number? 5,500. That's how long they've been making wine here. That's not just old, it's one of the oldest unbroken winemaking traditions on the entire planet.
This incredible depth of history is our first stop. We're talking about a journey through entire civilizations. Greeks, Romans, crusading knights, all of whom left their mark on the soil and the vines of Cyprus. Just look at this timeline. It shows a truly unbroken chain, starting way back 5,500 years ago. You had the Greeks weaving wine into their culture, the Romans turning it into a major export, but the real game changer happens in 1191 with the Knights Templar. They didn't just make wine, they created a legend that connects that ancient world to the modern Renaissance we're seeing today.
And that legend has a name, Commanderia. Think about that for a second. It's the world's oldest named wine that's still in production today. Named for the Templars' headquarters, the Grande Commandeer, every single sip is a direct taste of medieval history.
So, how on earth does a sun-baked Mediterranean island produce fresh, elegant, world-class wines? Well, the secret isn't on the coast. It's high up in the mountains. This is the island's secret weapon. It's terroir.
You can really see the island's split personality here. The coast is hot and dry, great for a holiday, but really tough for delicate grapes. But head inland, up into the Troodos Mountains, and everything changes. You get cool mountain air and these huge temperature swings from day to night. That contrast is the secret sauce for creating wines with acidity and complex flavor. And it's not just the altitude, it's what's underfoot. The quality vineyards are all on these mountain slopes, allowing for a slow, even ripening. The soil itself is this fascinating geological cocktail. Limestone brings a crisp minerality, ancient volcanic soils add structure, and layers of clay give the wine body. It's like a recipe written by the earth itself. Now, if the mountains are the stage, then the native grapes are the stars of the show. These are the indigenous heroes that tell the real story of Cypriot wine. Let's meet the main players. On the white side, the queen is Zinastirti. Think crisp, citrusy, and mineral-driven. For the reds, Marathafico is the rising star. It's complex, spicy, and intense. And you can't forget Mavro, the workhorse grape that's light and fruity on its own, but absolutely essential for creating the legendary Commanderia. So the bottom line is this. Protecting and celebrating these native grapes is everything. They're the soul of the wine. They're what makes a wine from Cyprus taste like it could come from nowhere else on earth. History, mountains, unique grapes, it all sounds amazing, right? But what do the wines actually taste like today? Let's dive into the modern flavors of Cyprus, starting with the legend before we see what else the island has to offer. The process for making Commanderia is just pure alchemy. First, the grapes are laid out to dry under that intense Mediterranean sun, concentrating all their sugars. Then, after pressing, the super sweet juice is fermented but stopped halfway by adding grape spirit. Finally, it's aged in oak barrels, often for decades, getting more complex every single year. And the result is a sensory explosion in the glass. You get these incredible aromas of dried figs, honey, cinnamon, and toasted nuts. It's rich and sweet, yes, but the key is the acidity that keeps it perfectly balanced, never cloying. But Cyprus today is so much more than Commanderia. Winemakers are crafting an incredible range. That Zinasteri grape makes crisp, mineral-driven whites that are a perfect match for fresh seafood. The rare Marathafico grape produces powerful, structured reds that can age for years. And of course, they make vibrant, aromatic rosés that feel like they were bottled specifically for a Mediterranean sunset. So, what does the future hold? Like any ancient wine region adapting to the modern world, Cyprus faces both challenges and massive opportunities. The big hurdles are clear. Climate change means more heat and less water, which is a huge concern. Water management is already critical.
And, of course, they've got to stand out in a crowded global market and get their unique story heard.
But the response is powerful. Cypriot winemakers are innovating with sustainable farming and, most importantly, they're doubling down on what makes them unique, those fantastic native grapes. That's their signature, their key to the future.
Which leaves us with one final thought. With roots that are thousands of years deep and an ambition that's thoroughly modern, could Cyprus be the wine world's next big discovery? Based on what's in the bottle, the answer feels like a resounding yes.